Every kid has a great story to tell. Have one? Well, we're listening. Send your best story to the New Indian Express's Bookworm Junior Summer Stories Contest, and you could just end up becoming an author over the summer. What are you waiting for? Get writing.
Hindustan Institute of Technology and Science. Take your first step toward a future in excellence.
Hello and welcome. This is the New Indian Express's Let's Debate, India's largest virtual inter-school debate. We've been having a series of great debates from students across the country. We've been talking about the new education policy. We've been talking about whether it's right to protest. We've been talking about dissent. We've been talking about the constitution. Today, we're talking about something that takes us a little closer home. And I'm very excited to welcome all of our young debaters to this very interesting platform. I know virtual has been a thing for the last year, but before this, who would have ever imagined we could have done something like this? Thank you very much for being here, guys. Today, the motion on the floor, festivals like Diwali being labeled as pollution fests, fact or hypocrisy? Well, that's something that people very seriously have taken over the last few years, and we hope that we can get some insight from India's young debaters. Let me now welcome our two judges for the day. We have with us Dr. Abraham Thomas. Dr. Abraham Thomas started the very exciting Hatke space in Koduru in Andhra Pradesh. It's a very vibrant cultural center, and they've been running Leela, which is a library, education, environment, language, and arts performance center for about 4 years now, I think. And they've been working with a great number of children to foster the spirit of innovation and learning in rural places, especially in the center in Andhra. Thank you so much for being with us, Dr. Thomas. It's a pleasure. And from within the Indian Express family, I'd like to welcome Deepavi. Deepavi is our assistant news editor. She's based out of Kerala. She's been with the New Indian Express for a great many years. She's got over 15 years of experience. She has a master's in communication and journalism, and she was an avid quizzer in school. And she's won 7 scholarships at that level. And she's a very passionate percussionist. Well, that's something you don't get every day. Thank you so much for being with us, Deep.
Thanks.
Okay. All right. Now that we have the motion and we know which side our debaters are on, by the way, I should tell both our judges that all of the debaters had the motion, but just about 15 minutes ago, we told them whether they're speaking for or against the motion. So they had to figure out both ways. There's a little bit of unpredictability there, and we're very excited to see how they turn out. Without further ado, let me now invite to speak for the motion our first speaker, Srishti Tripathi. Srishti, if you're good to go, the floor is yours.
Article 25 of the Constitution provides for freedom of conscience and the right to freely profess, practice, and propagate religion by all the citizens of the country. It should also be noted that Article also provides for sensible restrictions, like the practice of religion should be subject to public order, morality, and health. Hence, it is a moral duty to first address the pollutions caused by the festivals and then take steps to curb them by considering Article 25 in letter and in spirit. Good afternoon, one and all. I am Srishti Tripathi, and today I hold the seat of proposition on the motion, festivals like Diwali being labeled as pollution fests, fact or hypocrisy. I hope to present as many as facts possible, which will be conclusive as to why festivals are pollution fests. An analysis of hour by hour particulate matter levels in 2019 showed that many northern cities of India registered 2019's highest pollution levels during Diwali and crossed the permissible limits. The Delhi NCR region was affected the most in Diwali The peak PM 2.5 level concentration in Delhi's ITO was 938.2 units on October 28, wherein the permissible limit for India on an average is 60 units per 24 hours. A separate study that has been done in the Indian city of Jamshedpur found significantly increased levels of the following substances during Diwali: PM10 particles, sulfur dioxide, nitrogen dioxide, ozone, iron, lead, manganese, copper, beryllium, and nickel. The government's own Central Pollution Board 2017-18 lists 15 substances in firework which it says are hazardous and toxic. In today's age of globalization, where money is equated with joy and happiness, and religion, like everything else, has been commercialized, things obviously are different. Every god and goddess spawns an elaborate industry, with which each being celebrated with equal pomp and splendor. In other words, wastage and pollution of resources. In 2016, 209,602 idols were immersed in Mumbai, but out of those, only 3,118 idols were immersed across artificial immersion spots. According to the environmental NGO Toxic Links, approximately 100,000 idols are immersed in India's water bodies each year, adding arsenic, cadmium, lead, mercury, manganese, chromium, varnish, gudgeon oil, zinc, and plaster of Paris, which becomes gypsum upon addition to water, leading to low oxygen levels in water bodies with equal and adverse environmental impact. The release of decorative rafts and floats, mostly made up of styrofoam and other non-biodegradable substances into the waterways and festivals, is environmentally degrading, which adds significant waste into the water. The sky lanterns are a major fire hazard. They have wreaked havoc around the world. In South Carolina, USA, a lantern caused fire that destroyed 800 acres of land. The lanterns also pose terrible danger to livestock and wildlife. Plastic confetti and glitter, often used to mark festivals, never break down and can't be recycled. Moreover, a fake Christmas tree, which can often be used year after year, are made up of plastic imitations, which end up in landfill and can never break down. Furthermore, artificial trees are also made up of petroleum-based products, sending harmful toxins into the air during the production. Furthermore, Holika bonfire contributes to deforestation. An activist estimated Holika causes 30,000 bonfires every year, with each one burning approximately 100 kilograms of wood. Apart from that, Abir uses copper sulfate, ammonium, aluminium bromide, and other chemicals, which is not only harmful to humans, but also retards water percolation and diminishes soil quality. Hence, one thing is crystal clear from this: the flood of money and the desire for grandeur have tainted our lives. When earlier festivals were purely spiritual, they have become pollution pests today. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Srishti. There was so much of research in there, and I think that that's something that we always need facts, and facts speak volumes. Let me now invite to speak against the motion, Shayana. Shayana, if you're good to go.
I'm Shaina. Air pollution. This is the most general retarded thing to talk about. You people don't use public transport, use personal vehicles, don't follow carpooling, and yet cry about pollution that happens for few hours. Really lame. Sound pollution. If crackers create noise pollution, then what about the loud music on loudspeakers and honking constantly does? No one ever reports about how horns making companies don't follow rules and most of the time cross the standard decibel rules. My crackers don't let you sleep. Again, you retarded the argument. You spend all night online or on for one night you get a hard urge to take a nap. If noise of crackers is so disturbing, then what about people who play loud music all night and don't let you neighbors sleep? The World Health Organization database and Earth air quality lists 9 Indian cities in the top 20 worldwide for the highest annual concentrations of PM 2.5, one of the most harmful particles of human health. The levels are way above the recommended WHO guidelines for concentrations of PM 2.5. Around this time of year, Delhi and other cities in northern India experience worsening air quality because of a combination of factors, not just because of Diwali fireworks. These include crop burning by farmers in Punjab and Haryana states, exhaust emissions of vehicles, constructions and industrial activity in Delhi and surrounding areas, weather patterns across the region trapping pollutants in the atmosphere. And I might be repeating some facts that have already been stated, so forgive and emphasis of it has to be repeated. It's not only during Diwali that we burst crackers. There have been a lot of other times as well, like weddings, birthdays, and anniversaries, and so on forth. Also, it's not Diwali. Delhi's AQI is caused by crackers. On an everyday notice that pollution is unbearable, that heat is unbearable, that toxins, I agree, or corrupt to the soil. Then why do you end up buying them every year? You don't get it to call it's a pollution fest when you enable the pollution fest by buying them every year, especially when you claim to care of the children and a future the green cover. Would you continue your purchase of the crackers if you knew that there's 1% of children population that are put into a labor to manufacture them, so again to gain income for their family while they make the crackers and injure themselves in the process? So I conclude my speech that Diva is not a pollution fest.
Thank you so much, Shayana. Could I now invite to speak for the motion Alana Shaji? Alana, if you're good to go.
The only animal that pouts on next. Greetings, honorable judges, worthy opponents, and the audience. I'm Alana Shadi from Kendra Vidyalaya Pattam, and I'm here before you to express my views in favor of the topic, festivals like Diwali being labeled as pollution fest. I proudly submit that India is the country with the largest number of festivals. Festivals are beautiful. They bring people together, fills our lives with happiness, peace, and joy. But there are also some cons to these festivals. They harm our environment. So we don't have any intention of harming nature. We do it unknowingly by following some traditions while celebrating festivals. For example, let's consider Diwali as one such festival. Diwali spreads a lot of air pollution. Now, what's the major source of pollution? Obviously, it's firecrackers. It's a tradition to burn and light crackers. I totally agree that it's fun and enjoyable, but very few are aware that these crackers are harmful to the environment. If we look at how this has affected our health, then the Central Pollution Control Board has drawn up a list of the known health impacts that are caused by the combustion of chemicals commonly found in firecrackers. For example, aluminum, which produces color in many crackers, causes dermatitis, which is inflammation of the skin. Barium nitrate, which is used as an oxidizer that helps combustion and produces a green color effect, is poisonous and can irritate the respiratory tract. Potassium nitrate, copper compounds, and antimony sulfide are carcinogens, while ash from arsenic compounds can cause lung cancer. Yes, you heard me right, lung cancer. Lead compounds that remain in the air for days can trigger developmental disorders in fetuses and young children. Moreover, copper compounds, aluminum, mercury, and lead accumulate in the environment. To put it more briefly, pollution leaves a huge negative impact on our environment, human lives, animals, etc. We, as responsible citizens, must take steps towards a better tomorrow. We must join hands to fight against this problem. A lot of innocent lives are put in danger due to pollution every day. If we don't do anything from now or take a stand to make the earth pollution-free, then the doomsday will be upon us very soon. I have clearly shown, and I strongly believe that festivals like Diwali should be labeled as a pollution fest. Thank you.
Could I now call upon Niranjan Krishnan to tell us why festivals like Diwali or Diwali or pollution fest are hypocrisy?
Hello everyone, my name is Niranjan Krishnan. Today I'm going to talk about this against this motion. This is a hypocrisy. Diwali is known as the festival of lights. It's not known as the festival of crackers. We don't need to burn fireworks. It is not a part of the tradition. And not only this, human activity causes pollution more than festivals. If you had seen in the recent lockdown, pollution had reduced a lot because human activity was very less. We were not outside doing our usual work. Pollution from factories and waste which is dumped into rivers and water bodies are causing pollution. And not only the festivals which are celebrated for one particular day. These festivals are based on a story or a myth, and it is not for polluting the environment. We as humans are not being responsible for what we are doing and causing these pollutions.
All right. Thank you so much, Niranjan. Would you like to continue, or are you done?
No, actually, I don't think I can. I can only emphasize more on what I have said already.
All right, Niranjan, that's completely up to you. Thank you very much. Could I now invite to speak for the motion Aisha Reggie? Aisha, if you're good to go, all yours.
Good evening, all. My name is Aisha Reddy, and I'm from Kerala, Thiruvananthapuram. As you all know, that Diwali is a festival of lights, and we get immense pleasure by celebrating it. But by celebrating Diwali, we at times tend to harm Mother Nature, and afterwards we get harmed by harms done by us. Today's debate is about Diwali being labeled as pollution-fest, fact or hypocrisy. I strongly believe that it is a fact because celebrating Diwali causes a lot of pollution, like air pollution, noise pollution, land pollution, and even light pollution. Well, a lot of attention is focused on the impact of fireworks in Diwali in the previous years, like 2019 and 2020. Indian Supreme Court has attempted to restrict the use of fireworks on Diwali. The World Health Organization listed 9 Indian cities in the top worldwide list of the highest annual concentrations of PM 2.5, a dangerous particle for human health. So let me give you a brief definition of PM 2.5. Particulate matter, or PM 2.5, is a type of pollution involving fine particles fewer than 2.5 microns that is so fine that they can enter the lungs and even small cases cross our bloodstream. So it's study by Indian scientists show that they found 40% increase of air pollution of PM 2.5 in the recent years, and this increase in PM 2.5 in the environment is causing a lot of health pollution. And not only it is affecting many industries as well. So if I mention Lucknow, last year the pollution levels have gone up by staggering 30% on the night of Diwali. And if you look on an hourly basis, after 5 hours, after 6 p.m., there was a 100% rise of PM 2.5 in Lucknow. And all this at the end causes a great threat to the environment called global warming. And coming to the point of noise pollution, firecrackers produce sound levels of 190 decibels last year sound levels were increased by 65%. Noise pollution can directly affect human beings by causing depression, anxiety, hearing impairments, etc. The next point says celebrating Diwali also causes land pollution. You'll be surprised to know that last year just Delhi witnessed a whopping 30% increase of garbage generated during Diwali. All this garbage generation is causing land pollution because it is the world waste generated is not biodegradable. It will take thousands of years to at least start decompose, which is more than a human lifespan. And much of this waste regarding land pollution is from the wrappers and remains of the firecrackers, which includes both paper and plastic. The government and the local municipality find it immensely difficult to deal with such staggering amount of garbage every year on Diwali. Around the time of Diwali every year, there's much talk about air pollution and noise pollution caused by Diwali. Well, it is time that we recognize and contain what light pollution is all about. As the whole country gets electrically lit up for Diwali, the shift from clay lamps to artificial festive lights is leaving a large footprint. Light pollution is when the night sky is not dark anymore and to excessive artificial lights, and is the most visible consequence during Diwali. It causes serious health problems like depression, sleep disorders, and even breast cancer. And moreover, it disrupts ecosystems and is obviously a waste of energy. Well, I would like to sum up all the points I've just mentioned. Celebrating Diwali causes air pollution, noise pollution, land pollution, and even light pollution. The after effects of these pollution definitely label Diwali as a pollution fest. And I would like to say that the earth already has enough problems and we should not increase its problems. And because it has no time, because we never know what's going to happen next. Thank you, and proud to propose.
Thank you so much, Aisha. I'm going to give you a little time to catch your breath because I thought that was as fast as it was expressive as it was great. Thank you so much for that. All right. I mean, we talk about how you've got to believe in the motion, whether you're against it or for it. But, I really think you put everything into that. I mean, all guns firing there. All right. Could I now invite to speak against the motion, Mihikanshu Behera?
The trees are our lungs, the rivers our circulation, the air our breath, and the earth our body. Hello everyone, I am Hikanshu Behra here speaking against the topic festivals like Diwali being labeled as pollution fests. Firecrackers, green or otherwise, add to atmospheric pollution. They are also known as fire hazard. They terrify animals, and I have an acute sense of what having experienced it is. All of this is true, but it does not follow that a nationwide ban on firecrackers is the answer. Indeed, a blanket ban across India could be counterproductive in other ways, because the unpopularity of the policy energizes socially conservative and reactionary politics, shrinking the envelope of freedom and rule of law. The factories and vehicles spread pollution, but why should firecrackers be banned for that? Delhi's polluted air is on the minds of media persons, policymakers, politicians, and even judges, which makes it easy for them to be persuaded that banning firecrackers is necessary. They easily miss the fact that India is a vast country and there are many areas where the air is not as polluted, space not as populated, and the preference for firecrackers not as intense. They also miss the fact that India had a lot of people are independent on firecracker industry, and their interests and livelihoods are also legitimate considerations. It is positively undemocratic and unjust to announce a ban on firecrackers a few days before Diwali. There is no time for anyone to make adjustments. Manufacturers and dealers are left staring at huge losses, and children who had been looking forward to the festival face disappointment. Lighting firecrackers is not an immoral act, no more than driving a car or taking a flight is. It is best to deal with pollution as a practical issue. Thank you.
Thank you so much. I don't think anybody brought up the economic impact of what it can do when festivals take a hit. Excellent, excellent. Thank you, Mehitanshu. Could I now invite Nikita to speak for the motion? Nikita Shri.
It's good to celebrate festivals and follow our tradition. But if it's going to affect our daily life and health in the future, we should try to avoid such practices. It's true that it increases love, happiness, joy, and peace in our life. But we should be aware that it's not harming our nature and the Mother Earth while enjoying the festival. Nature is all we have, and it's the most beautiful thing. We should not ruin it and try to save it as much as possible. And today, I'm going to debate on the topic that festivals like Diwali are labeled as polluting fest, and it's truly a fact. The excessive release of wastages and used materials into the water bodies pollute the water and cause many diseases such as typhoid, cholera, malaria, and botulism, etc. It also affects the aquatic animals and plants. During Ganesh Chaturthi, during the immersion of God, they use non-biodegradable materials such as plastic flowers, and idols are made up of plaster of Paris paint which pollute the water. Due to bursting of high decibel crackers, it causes noise pollution and affect the human being, cause cardiovascular effects, high tension, and animals are affected by improper navigation, permanent hearing loss, etc. During Durga Puja, Navaratri, Diwali, etc., there is increase in noise pollution. Though I'm not against celebrating festivals, but I do take offense to the manner in which they do it, causing irreparable damage to the environment. Under Article 25 provides freedom of conscience and right to freely profess, propagate, and practice religion by all citizens. Should be noted that the article also provides for reasonable restrictions, like practices of law religion should be subject to public order, morality, and health. During all festivals, there is increase in the usage of fuels due to hectic traveling during festival days before and after, and carbon monoxide are released into the atmosphere, and due to bursting of firecrackers, toxic gases are released into the atmosphere since fireworks are made up of sulfur, carbon, and other chemicals. During Christmas, about 120 million trees are cut, causing deforestation, leads to increase in greenhouse gases, and this leads to global warming, causing shortage of water, rise in sea level, etc. There is also increase in the wastages in food during festivals, which increase in greenhouse gases. That is the methane. Government are making many rules to avoid pollution, but there is still a long way to go. From this, I strongly state that festivals like Diwali are labeled as polluting fest, and it is a fact. Just for the sake of enjoyment, should we pollute our environment, our nature, our precious? Think about it. Thank you.
Thank you so much. I think we all need to think about it, and there's a lot of food for thought there. Could I now invite to speak against the motion, Sri Varshini?
Among my friends, I'm famously known as the contrarian because I always love to think from the other point of view, like today. Greetings to the respected chairperson, judges, to my worthy opponents and audience. This is Sri Varshini from Meridian, Banjara, Hyderabad, here to speak against the motion and prove that all talks about festivals like Diwali being a pollution fest is absolute hypocrisy. And so we've heard hashtag no crackers on Diwali, hashtag save Mother Earth from pollution on Diwali. But have you ever grabbed the fact that pollution is not something that happens on the day of that festival and disappears till the next year? Have you never realized that the smoke released from vehicles, factories, industries, manufacturing a few items that release poisonous gases cause pollution? And disclaimer, let me inform you that I am not defending the use of excess firecrackers. I am questioning the fact that how come the responsible citizen in you wakes up on that particular day suddenly concerned about Mother Earth and air pollution and sleeps for the rest 364 days. Our lifestyle is almost entirely dependent on the usage of coal-generated electricity, because of which we're actually able to communicate right now. And our internal combustion, the day-to-day thing itself causes several-fold more pollution. 60% of India's power that is generated from coal causes smog, soot, acid rain, global warming, toxic emissions, and whatnot. For example, we want to ban crackers on the day of Diwali, but no problem if they are used during events, festivals, parties, etc. On the regular days. But we want Diwali to be crackerless. Great theory, isn't it? I mean, how hypocritical can we be to such narrow-minded? We worry about noise pollution during festive celebrations, but no matter if decibel limits are crossed, the honking, the loudspeakers, no problem, right? How is it that just a week before such festival, we become aware of the fact there is an issue of air pollution and that we need to save Mother Earth? No doubt, we need to save Mother Earth and bring down carbon levels, but it is not just on such special days, but at all times we need to show such care and responsibility. This realization is what we need. We need unity to fight such problems, not hurting people's sentiments, but helping out each other. Because labeling festivals like Diwali, not only as pollution fest, not only provokes people, but it brings out unnecessary arguments. Because on the basis of calculating of the amount of pollution created, every single day is a pollution fest, right? Every single day is a pollution fest. So these matters are quite sensitive. So sensible things should be done, where it's not about just rubbing off your hands if you don't burn crackers once, but we need to show the responsibility 24/7. And our Mother Earth really needs our responsibility, accountability, commitment, and care at all times. Thank you.
What I'm going to remember for a while is every day is a pollution fest. Thank you so much. All right, I'm going to now invite our last speaker, also speaking against the motion, Yukti.
Hello everyone, my name is Yukti Pal. I'm from International School, Punihar. Today I discuss the effects of this topic. We have to celebrate on eco-friendly Diwali. For example, avoid bursting crackers. Crackers have a heavy and the two surrounding full of the noise, and we wake up to the street littered with waste. Diwali without crackers is not fun, but for a learn of in the future we may give them up or use eco-friendly crackers. Use traditional lighting. Go for the good old oil devices and that are biodegradable and cost effective. This will reduce electricity consumption and wastage during the festive days. Use recycled decorations. Recycled decoratives are becoming increasingly popular these days. These decorative items do not say make up of the thing which we thousands away as waste also inspire us to.
All right, and with that we come to the end of our first round. Thank you very much, speakers. I think you all spoke very well. Some very interesting points from across the board and some very interesting arguments, both for fact and for hypocrisy. But we'll have to see before we can come to a conclusion. We're very quickly going to go into our rebuttals. Now remember, each of you has 2 minutes for rebuttal on the clock. Use your 2 minutes wisely. Remember, a rebuttal is optional. You can opt to pass if you don't want to make a rebuttal. But we are giving away an award for the best rebuttal, so maybe make that count. And if you have rebuttals against multiple speakers, do it one after the other at one shot within those 2 minutes, and we leave the other speakers to respond to that. All right? We're going to follow the same order that we followed with our first round. And so in the same vein, let me now invite Srishti Tripathi. Do you have a rebuttal for us?
The first speaker, as well as the third and the fourth speaker of the opposition, reasonable question that can we tell that festivals are pollution fests? I'll answer this question in a very rhetorical way and by questioning all the board members alike. That since Diwali is a festival, don't we consider Dussehra also as a festival? We do. Just because our daily lives add to pollution does not mean that festivals do not add significantly to pollution. They add to pollution and hence they are pollution fests. Moreover, the fifth speaker of the opposition also quoted that we become sensible only on the day of festival and wake up all right for the next 364 days. But fellow mate, only if it were that simple and only if it was celebrated for one day. Then we could have considered that festivals do not add significantly to the pollution. Alas, festivals are not just narrowed down to Diwali and festivals are not narrowed down to Diwali and Dussehra. If we go by the definitions of the festivals, then any celebration is regarded as festival. So the music festivals, like those in the USA, like the Coachella, Stagecoach, and Desert Trip, which also generate a lot of waste, like 100,000 tons of waste a day, 100 tons of solid waste every day, are also considered as festivals, and they also add to pollution. Thank you so much.
I guess the question that we have to ask ourselves is, are we seasonal hypocrites or all year-round hypocrites? Well, that's a question only time will answer. Could I now ask Shayana, do you have a rebuttal for us?
No, sir, I don't have.
All right, thank you. Could I now ask Alana, do you have a rebuttal for us?
One of my worthy opponent argue that you can't just blame festivals for creating pollution. I firmly reject what he said. I wasn't only blaming firecrackers for pollution. I used it as a major example. Let me make it more useful for you. Now I want to draw attention to what pollution caused by these festivals. So Ganapati celebrations shall be followed by Durga Puja, so emotion areas filled with flowers and parts of idols. The materials such as plaster of Paris used in making idols add to the water pollution. Paints used for decorating the idols, along with high levels of mercury and lead, increases the toxic levels of water bodies after immersion days. These toxins eventually enter the food chain after affecting the marine ecosystem and its biodiversity. The highly contaminated Ganga is now saturated with litters of paint, bulks of plaster of Paris, toxic synthetic materials, and non-biodegradable waste like plastic flowers plunge into the holy river. So every year, data has shown significant worsening of air quality and water quality during festive season. What do you have to say about this? And even environmental activists has raised concerns regarding pollution caused due to festivals. So what can you take over it?
All right. At the end of this, I'm going to be very phobic towards plaster of Paris. Could I now ask Niranjan, do you have a rebuttal for us?
Burning firecrackers is not part of the tradition of any of these festivals. And none of the idea of the festivals promote burning any firecrackers. It is we humans who chose to burn crackers and to use chemical substances to make these statues which you submerge. We can go for alternatives, but we don't choose that. And it is not the problem of these festivals. And we should not, and festivals don't cover maximum of the days in a year. And daily we make more pollution than just a festival. By reducing human activity, we can reduce pollution a lot, more than just by banning firecrackers during a festival. That's it, sir.
Thank you, Niranjan. Reducing human activity has been the buzzword of what we've done the last 1 year. Could I now ask Aisha? Aisha, do you have a rebuttal for us? And before you do, please breathe 2 times for me, please. And then you can begin. Take 2 deep breaths.
So, by starting my rebuttals, I have to say that our first speaker mentioned that first speaker from the opposition side mentioned that it is a big threat for children who is under labor for making firecrackers. But I want to stick to the topic. Well, it does not. That statement made by that speaker does not directly stick to the topic. Well, it is cruel to children. I admit that, but making children work is not causing pollution, I say. And And one of the speakers from the opposition side also said that it is just for one day. What will happen in just one day? And I would like to say that it is an excuse that it's just for one day, and smoke particles and harmful pollutants linger on the Earth's atmosphere for days and sometimes for even months. And another point is that the rise of asthma patients and breathing problems in kids and older people, especially in Delhi, is yet making Diwali being labeled as a pollution fest. And regarding Delhi too, I would like to say that it is a choking smoke of dust, even if it's just for one day. It is causing a severe emergency state in the 20 million people, 20 million residents of Delhi. And and government is all, then the government is also cannot the government cannot even take it in hand. It's going out of control. And I would say that applying restrictions, I'm not telling to ban Diwali, but apply a bit of restrictions and you put Diwali in your hands. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Could I now ask Mihikanshu, do you have a rebuttal for us?
So I wanted to say that on Diwali, as I have said that Diwali, we should not ban firecrackers, but the other days, like the cars and all, they spread pollution, people smoking, with they spread air pollution, factories, the waste and all, they spread water pollution, and even the farming, the use of fertilizers, chemical fertilizers, and it reduces the groundwater, and which also pollutes the water, also pollutes the water in the rivers. So what about that?
All right. Well, that's a very important question, I think. Could I now ask Nikita, do you have a rebuttal for us?
Yes, sir.
All right, go right ahead.
So first, we must consider every minute factor causing pollution. So for example, every minute thing, even which may cause a big explosion in the future. So compared to the regular days, one of my opponents have said that there is festivals are happening and pollution is happening in every regular days. Compared to the regular days, during festival days, everybody is bursting at the same time and for a long period of time. So the impact will be for a long period of time. And for example, it's for a long, I'm giving an example. For example, the water pollution, it'll give a lot of diseases. For example, typhoid, cholera, malaria diseases, whatever it is, it's giving for a long period of time. And what about during festivals? Nearly a lot of people are traveling for before and after festivals to the relatives' homes, to the guest homes, to gather there. Fine. So it causes air pollution due from the vehicles. Carbon monoxide are released. And during festivals like Holi, it causes skin disease. It also affects the human beings. So and also another thing, during Christmas, about 120 million trees are cut off. What do you want to say about this? It's causing a lot of deforestation. If it causes deforestation, it causes greenhouse gases, increase in greenhouse gases. If it increase in greenhouse gases, there is increase in the global warming. If there is increase in the global warming, they cause shortage of water and drought and even many diseases, many types of causes and impacts on our lives, on the environment, on a Mother Earth. So we must consider.
Nikita, I must tell you, if Greta had heard that, it would be right at the very least. All right, could I now ask Srivashini, do you have a rebuttal for us?
Yes, a lot to address.
Go for it.
Yes, so I'll get straight to the point. A lot of people, I think, spoke about this particular thing that I said, that how come we sleep for 364 days and just on that particular day. So I'd like to address that. When I mentioned that, I tried to talk about how we are suddenly concerned during the festive season. How are we suddenly concerned about Mother Earth? And that how do we not think about pollution? Because when Diwali starts on Twitter, everything is trending, that green Diwali, this, that, but that's not the case every day. But there is pollution every day, right? And also, just right here, I think just before me, Nikita mentioned that every minute factor should be considered when you are trying to curb pollution. So I put it in another way. And even as we are, getting so concerned about Diwali, like that, even the factories, even those should be considered, right? Every single minute factor should be considered. And factories actually are not minute factors; they are major factors. And I personally, because of all what I've heard, I think people are questioning the fact that seasonal hypocrisy and all this. What I want to say is that that kind of a care and concern that we get should be, if it's uniform throughout the year, then that's what is you call care for Mother Earth. Suddenly, when when Diwali comes up, or Holi comes up, or Ganesh Chaturthi comes up, we are wondering about plaster of Paris. We are wondering about pollution and this and that. It's not something that happens on that day only. There are a number of other things that are happening throughout the year. As they said, a festival is not just there's not just one or two festivals. There are so many festivals that are happening throughout the year, and there are so many activities which need not be called festivals, but they cause pollution. So how can you just label festivals as such particular festival as pollution fests, because they really hurt people's sentiments, and we need to think practically rather than all this blame game.
All right. On the money, on the game. Thank you so much. Could I now ask our last rebuttal of the evening, Yukti? Yukti, do you have a rebuttal for us?
Every year, people spend thousands of rupees on firecrackers in the name of celebration. Don't make Diwali a festival of air and noise pollution. Bursting crackers on every occasion, be it Lohri, New Year Eve, Dashera, Diwali, among others, is a festival act. Stay resident. The smoke of these crackers add to the already polluted air. Hence, it is imperative that we shift to eco-friendly way to celebrate, like planting, supplying instead tribune photos. Thank you.
All right. Thank you very much, you guys. I thought that was fantabulous. I'm going to give you guys a big hand. I thought that was very, very good. And I think that some very good action points there that everybody can work on. But what I particularly liked was that everybody was extremely civil, and I think that's very rare in a debate. So congratulations, all of you. I think you guys did extremely well. So Dr. Thomas, would you like to say a few words to our debaters about how they did today?
I was taken back to my school days, looking at you guys speak. Some of you have really prepared well and come to this debate, and most importantly, we saw a decent debate for the first time, isn't it? So, from what we see these days, there's no decency left in debates these days on TV, and sometimes it just catches on. And to make this very beautiful way to present and to bring about good points on both sides of a debate is probably the most civilized way of getting ahead, going forward in life. And I must say, all of you have done really well, and it's very refreshing to see that.
Thank you so much. Deepa, would you like to say a few words to our debaters about how they did today?
I would like to say that all the participants have done really well. They are extremely talented children, and anyway, all the best for all the participants, and best of luck.
Before I mention the names of the winners, I'd like to say a small thing. Like usually, always we do. We have to also. You guys have all done well, and among you, we are supposed to select 3 of them, and 3 of you. For the finest point, the judges have selected Aisha Reggie.
Congratulations, Aisha. You win our finest point. You get a 1,000 rupee voucher from Link Pens.
And for the counter strike, it's Niranjan Unni Krishna.
All right, Niranjan, congratulations. You win yourself a 1,000 rupee voucher from Link Pens as well.
For the lighter side, it had to be Sai Sri Varshini.
Congratulations, Srivashini. Congratulations. You also win yourself a 1,000 rupee voucher from Link Pens. We hope you enjoyed.
And not to forget, Srishti Tripathi, you made some really nice points, and don't be disappointed at all, because you spoke really well. One other thing that I would say along with this is that when you debate on issues like this, please also look at how refinement in society takes place. Also think about it, and this is something that we all ought to bring about in our in our day-to-day thinking. If you want to reduce anything, you have to reduce the frequency, the number of hours, the period of time, and it has to be put forward with empathy and with sense. So governments are also responsible for this. So we should not blame each other, or we should not always take the blame to the last individual. Policy and maturity, empathy, these work a long way, and probably all the strength that is in our country that's left is because of that. So the other things that have to always be taken into consideration are business interests. You have to take into the consideration the economics, and whether these kind of expenditures are appropriate to our country in the first place. Do we have excess that we throw away, or is it time to be frugal? And is it time to tone down on certain particular expenditures? Not picky, choosy, but out of responsibility.
Thank you so much. I must say that I have a lot of faith that a lot of the policy of tomorrow will be shaped by some of these young people here. And on that note, I'd like to thank you, Dr. Thomas. I'd like to thank you, Deepa, for being here, being great judges. I'd like to thank each one of you guys for being here and debating your hearts out. I know that every one of you is a winner, and I know that you're going to change the life as we see it tomorrow. Congratulations, all of you, and we hope to see you again soon. All the very best. Stay safe. I'd like to very quickly thank our sponsors, HITS and MEI, for making this possible. Thank you. Stay safe and go forth and prosper. Thank you, guys. Take care. Remember, you can vote for your favorite debater right here at www.edexlive.com/debate. Remember, every vote counts. Our voting lines are open for 48 hours, so get voting right now. This debate was brought to you by the Hindustan Institute of Technology and Sciences and MEIL. Every kid has a great story to tell. Have one? Well, we're listening. Send your best story to the New Indian Express's Bookworm Junior Summer Stories Contest, and you could just end up becoming an author over the summer. What are you waiting for?